Hello and welcome to another episode of the World of Warcraft Hedge Fund series. The series where I attempt to make 10 million gold using my friend's money. Right now, I'm here in Oribos with my boy Smith Owl Burke, who just taught me how to make legendary bases. So boom, there we go. We got blacksmithing all the way leveled up to 100. We unlocked all the legendary bases, and now it's time to spend a fortune crafting all these things. However, before we actually get to the crafting, there's two things I want to do. Number one, I want to drop mining. Goodbye mining. It's been real. We'll get enchanting leveled up because I just want to be able to create my own enchanted bar thingies. And number two, we need to get our reputation with the Wild Hunt up at least to revered, because these Orboreal shards cost 125 gold currently. That's a lot. We're going to be using a ton of these because, yeah, each of these guys costs a ton. So, any way we can reduce the required gold costs on those, we're going to do it. So, I'm going to get to it. Right, I've got all my materials gathered. I've got enchanting trained. I've got my rune copper rod. I've got my guide. We're going to get this enchanting leveled up and get to enchanting a bunch of bars. Okay, we've got enchanting all leveled up, 115. Started actually making some bars, got the achievement. Yeah, not too bad. There was just a little bit of a hiccup in there. I had to buy some more soul dust, but it's all good now. So yeah, we're going to start crafting the blacksmithing stuff. All right, we've got another investment to add to the pile. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, so it's been spreadsheet time, and here's the thing. This is all the math for the cost just to unlock rank 4s for blacksmithing legendary wastes. And if I adjust the Orboreal shard value to 100 for Exalted and 7.2 for Exalted, we're saving almost 25,000 gold just on the level up process just for one item. Yeah, it's time to raise change to Goblin. Yeah, just in case you've been living under a rock for the past however long Cataclysm's been out, you always get the best vendor buy price from vendors as a goblin, so it just saves having to do the grind to Exalted, which I would imagine probably takes a month or two, even trying to min-max it, so that's definitely worth saving the time. Yeah, look at this clean-cut fellow. You would trust buying things from this guy. He's got a likable face. Okay, I don't know if you're supposed to be able to wear the Nightborn armor as a goblin, but I mean, come on. Look at this guy. Let's go. So I want to talk about opportunity for a moment and just thinking on your feet, because this isn't something you can really follow a formula for, but it's something you just have to pay attention to. So I've been working on gathering all the materials needed for, leveling up the blacksmithing legendary items, and I noticed while running scans for the materials that there's not a whole lot of Elementium or Alethium bars listed. Well, it's a little deceiving, right? Like the tooltip here says 4 auctions. When you expand it out, there's actually much more. It might have been 4 people total. But either way, what I also noticed was, hey, look, the market value was 148%. And the current value posted 148% of normal value. So yes, that's a little ridiculous. It seems like somebody tried to reset this market. Probably this guy. So, right, I need approximately, 150 or so of these right now for what I'm working on currently. But there's also this opportunity here to potentially make a really solid profit, right? It says right now 81 gold per craft. That's almost 100% profit on these items. So while I do need these to craft and level up, we have an opportunity here to just make a little bit of extra gold potentially, right? Like I'm still camping these materials. We'll talk about this later, and trying to buy up things cheap to keep my average price down. But hey, when these opportunities come, it's sometimes worth it to just sell the raw materials, or at least try to sell the raw materials. I haven't sold any yet. We'll see. you might as well take the opportunity because that's huge profit. And even if it delays the overall goal a bit, I think it's worth doing. So just pay attention and try to think of things, and don't have tunnel vision, I guess is all I'm trying to say. It's Sunday morning. We've got a few things to talk about. First things first, 41,000 gold in the mailbox, mostly coming from a couple boosting payouts, adding to my share of the hedge fund. We're doing a little bit of a flip on this Shadow Core oil. Well, it's a combination flip / storing for 9.1. Yeah, so I might have jumped the gun a little bit on making this purchase because, as you can see, I bought these at about 20 gold. That's that lowest purchase price, and then the price has been steadily going down. It is Sunday, so this price may shoot back up on Tuesday as raid consumables tend to do, but we'll see. I'm holding approximately 500 in the guild vault. We got another 890 or so. Excuse me, another 890 so in the bags that we're gonna try to flip in the meantime. Just a little bit of like a half and half kind of deal to make some money and also make an investment. There are a couple of sales on Sulfuron Ingot and Frozen Arms of a Hero from one of my investors, donating some random old items. Yeah, so we've got quite a bit of new cash in the fund actually this week, which is good because the more cash, the better. And it turns out that the blacksmithing legendary crafting is very expensive. I actually went ahead and did the math on this. So the spreadsheet still is a little bit rough, and this probably won't make a whole lot of sense, but I did go ahead and just do all the math for like all the materials for all the different ranks. And this is just for one item, by the way, wastes. Because ultimately I wanted to figure out what my materials costs would be. And so yeah, right now what this is saying is to make 15 rank 2s, which is the amount you need to rank up a waste, it's going to cost approximately 77,000 gold with everything factored in. And then these two items, most importantly, I don't know if you can see, 22,500 gold for the Arboreal Shards, and then 21,600 gold for just the Flux. And these were really the numbers I was most interested in because these are fixed costs. You can't do anything about them, and they're just part of playing the game, I guess. So the more cash we get in the near future, the better, because we're gonna have to level all of these up, and in order to start making some profit, which may be tricky, but I think it's gonna be worth it in the long run. This is an auction house screen. I've become very, very familiar with all of the materials needed to craft legendary bases for blacksmithing, and then a couple other little things I'm just keeping an eye on. Yeah, basically I'm just buying out any of the ores, particularly a lithium ore, that are ideally under 80%. I'm trying to keep the costs down, right? Like my lithium average buy price is actually not up there because I've used them all, so there's nothing to do the math on. But as you can see, my average purchase price is 41 gold. Trying to keep that as low as possible. They're up for 50 right now, because that does save quite a bit in the long run, but it's getting to the point where we might just have to bite the bullet and buy a little more of the expensive stuff. I talked about it in the weekly gold making presentation as well, but I do think these Veiled Augment runes are going to increase in price as well. Actually, about 500 gold was sort of what I was thinking would be a decent target to start actually buying them up at. I'm just gonna go take a look and see how much. 52,000 gold. The thing is, though, like, I really need to save as much cash as possible at the moment for legendary bases. So we're just gonna wait until the price is right on those. And by price, a few updates on our trusty new Goblin Warrior, who's currently dressed up as a Night Elf. So we've raised up the item level to 176 through coercion. I mean the kindness of some of my friends and investors who do have a vested interest in helping this character get a little bit of item level. We got a legendary crafted, which helps that out a lot too. And for any warriors out there, this is just a quick aside. I know that the Signet of Tormented Kings is typically put on the ring slot. I know this from some research that we'll probably get into at some point. However, I'm in the business of making plate BOE, or plate legendaries, not jewel crafting legendaries, so it just didn't seem right to not make plate for myself. Yeah, so we're gonna keep doing the Renown campaign thing. We're at 4 and 9 chapters at the moment, get the Renown leveled up, because having a relatively maxed out character going into the next patch is going to be important as far as gathering required stuff for crafting in the next patch. So yep, that's the plan. We'll keep working on it pretty casually, and I don't know. I'm debating as to whether or not we need another max level character. We can certainly make use of it, so it's just a matter of if I want to invest the time now to do so, or potentially even transfer a character. I don't know if that's necessarily off the table either. So yeah, there you go. There's a warrior update for the moment. All right, let's talk about this. So, if any of you are gold makers and haven't been listening to the Auction House podcast and have time to listen to podcasts, you should listen to that podcast. They did an episode most recently talking with a botter who does botting things in World of Warcraft. Obviously not cool, and not something I condone. And I see this guy posting these items up for less than half the market price, one at a time. What this person's doing is they're trying to bait other people to post the same item at a lower price, because whenever you just right click on something in the auction house to post it just with the default UI, it just uses whatever the lowest price is. So they're just, every 5 minutes or so, I think it's either a bot or somebody who just, is camping the auction house, posting up these things for a set price, trying to bait people to post them lower. It kind of sucks because I don't like that. I don't think it's really an ethical way of doing gold making, and I always try to buy them out because it's just scummy and it's the right thing to do in my mind. But I do see this catching some. Sometimes when I'm just kind of AFK watching the auction house, I'll see this guy posting and he will catch some people, and I will buy those people out because the only way to prevent this is to get rid of the low price things. So that kind of sucks. It's very suspicious. The name being all weird characters makes me think that it was chosen specifically to be hard to report and hard to find. Obviously, you could figure this out, and I probably will here after I just pause the recording so that you can report the botter. But I don't know. Just something I wanted to just put out there as something I've noticed. This is probably be gone by the time I get it. Nope, there it is. So there you go. Hopefully that saves somebody from losing a bunch of money on their hard-earned Alethia ore. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the steel-bound harness. So one of my investors actually had a good chunk of Blood of Sargeras, which is the BOP crafting material from the Legion expansion. And one of the things you can make with them are this mount, which is pretty neat because it sells for a decent chunk of money. Right now, min buyout is about 34,000 gold, market value 43. And we have some of these sitting in the bank now that we're going to be trying to sell over time. The nice thing was I did all the calculations on material cost, and if we can sell 2 of these at roughly the price it's going for, it'll pay for all the rest. So we made 10. We could potentially make 5 more. I also was talking to him. We might get some Legion legendary items made, depending on his desire of time investment, since it does require quite a bit of time to go and farm the materials needed for the Legion legendary stuff. But so I got some of these. I'm trying to get them sold. Not something I'm gonna expect to be selling quickly. Obviously, it's got a 0.13 sell rate, which is actually pretty good for an item that is this valuable. Great profit margins on it. So, just basically taking advantage of some materials that were laying around to convert them into some cash, hopefully. Yeah, we're kind of getting undercut a little bit severely right now. I'm probably just going to hold on. Already the 38,000 number wasn't one I was too thrilled about, but when you've got a big stock of items like this that you've invested a decent amount of gold into, you kind of want to get them moving a little bit just to ease your fears. So, but I'm gonna be patient and expect this to go back in price a little bit. All right, back for another mailbox check. This is actually a pretty nice looking one. So the main event here is 2 of the steel-bound harnesses. These are the Legion blacksmithing mounts that we crafted this episode. 2 of them have already sold, which means we are in the green for the entire endeavor. Since I think the whole material cost was somewhere around 40k. So yeah, just took 2 to get us in the green. Now the rest of the 8s that we get are pure profit. I will note that the reason those 2 sold was because somebody did a coordinated reset, or maybe not coordinated, it's probably just one person, honestly. This isn't a huge market. But yeah, the price has been reset to somewhere in the 50k range. I don't know if any of these have sold yet, but yeah, still quite a bit. So hopefully we'll get in on some of the higher prices as well. There's also a couple of BOE sales, Acolytes, Velvet Bindings, some legendary stuff. This is actually interesting, the Sokol's Grim Cinch. That's a Legion BOE, which we made, and then Blood of the Mountain, just a random material, and some stat food that we're flipping, in addition to holding for 7.1. I don't really know if it's strictly correct, but something I like to do when I make purchases for flipping is to sell some, or try to flip some immediately and then hold on to some. That way it's not like a complete wash right off the bat. As you can see, we purchased a bunch of these for around 15 gold. We already sold those 200 for 21 gold, so already that's a pretty nice flip. I'm expecting the bulk of these to sell for a lot more come the next patch 9.1, but it looks like there's some kind of holiday going on today. What fun. Yeah, so that's just kind of my general philosophy. That's why I'll sometimes keep some of these materials consumables that I'm trying to hold on to also in the bags. Gonna get these BOEs reposted. I'll let you know if anything interesting happens. Don't love the margins on these gloves, but it's still good, and we just need to get the sales going. And of course, you can't log on to the hedge fund characters without doing a little check on materials. Lithium ore is in extremely high demand these days. So, yep, pretty much anything that's a good price is getting bought out. I'm going to buy up, maybe not. Yeah, I think we're probably good with the rest of the stuff. I did want to mention, pretty sure this is the first time I mentioned it, that I imported some just Shadowlands TSM groups that are really nicely done, really nicely laid out for the most part. I'll have a link to the person who made this Reddit post and Pastebin available in the video description in case you're curious about it. But yeah, I definitely recommend these groups. They're very effective. I'm definitely going to be adjusting things as we go, but it's what I've been using to do some of my searches more recently. So ravioli is a pretty good price. We're going to go ahead and buy up, it's too bad there's not 2 less, so that I think we could be buying elite amount, but that's okay. Good price for it. The sharpening stones and the weight stones tend to be a lot more on the lower side of the market values. I think that's a combination between them not being quite as universally used for buffing your stuff and end-game content, and also I believe that to some degree you can use this to level up blacksmithing, so there tends to be a bit more of a supply than a demand. I don't want to purchase all 4,000 of these embalmer's oil, but I will go in for 100. That's a pretty good price, and these are not used by everybody, but it's a good enough price that I'm willing to give it a shot at a flip. There you go. I'm also kind of always on the hunt for cheap endgame stuff to potentially be offering as an incentive to investors to have access to stuff like this. Yeah, there's too much ravioli. We gotta get another bank tab. All right, while the ravioli is migrating over to the guild bank, let's take a look at the past week. So yeah, quite a bit of ups and downs, actually. We started the week after quite a big purchasing spree at around 230,000 gold, and we're ending it at approximately 372,000. We were up above 400,000, but we made some purchases there right at the end. Yeah, pretty happy with the progress. We made some good sales this week. Some BOEs. I think we mentioned the shawl. Yeah, so the shawl was definitely our biggest sale, 80,000. It was actually a profit of about 5,000. A couple of the harnesses, which we just went over, some more BOEs, and then just, actually quite a decent amount of legendary bases selling as well. I'm not quite sure if these really sold for a profit at the end of the day, but I'm glad to be moving them at the very least. The ore stockpile is running a bit low. Obviously, lithium ore is our main limiting factor at this point. The rest of these are pretty solid. We've got a lot of shadow gas ingots stocked up for legendary base crafting. I'll just go through the rest of these, some miscellaneous stuff in the guild bank. This is some stockpile for 9.1, and then of course our glorious ravioli tab. So I'm very pleased with the progress of our warrior. We've gotten to a point where our gear level is like, not respectable, but it's workable. We're at, I think, 8 of 9 on the campaign. So once we finish up this last chapter, we'll have a halfway decent weapon as well. And yeah, should be set to start just kind of keeping this thing in maintenance mode. Got a bunch of stuff. So some enchanted lithium bars, which of course we're going to be using to level up our legendary stuff. I believe all the Shadowghast ingots are in the bank, which, as I just recalled, we'll take a look at because, we are a goblin after all. And yeah, so there's all those Shadowghast ingots as well. Around 2,485 of them. Yeah, so yeah, we're pretty much well on our way to getting things going legendary-wise. Yeah, starting to consider possibility of leveling another character for more legendary crafting. There is still a significant amount of time before 9.1, so there's definitely enough time to do it. The real question is, will there be enough time with me also playing Burning Crusade for that to happen? Only time will tell. Yeah, and that's going to do it for this episode of the WoW Hedge Fund Let's Play series. I want to thank everyone for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it and maybe got some ideas. Yeah, I'm looking forward to keeping the gold rolling, getting these legendaries going, because that's when the real money's going to start happening once we are all set and ready for 9.1. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you have any questions, leave a comment. And other than that, have a wonderful week gold making, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.